Today, me, James, and Joe were presented with a rare and beautiful occurrence. We were given the opportunity to prank my brother-in-law, Wilson. Now, I'm not really with this YouTube trend of pranking people in ways like damaging their property or really humiliating them. We're going to humiliate a little bit, but no property damage, no hurting people. People aren't going to get physically hurt. Let me explain. So, around 5 p.m., me, James, and Joe decided that we were going to get pizza. So we drove to the pizza place. However, they were running a little bit behind schedule. So we thought, all right, we have to kill about 10 minutes. So we were in a plaza here with pizza. But we drove right to this plaza, right here. We drove to here, where there is a nail salon. S for salon. We pulled in there. We weren't going to get our nails done. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I would use a clear coat. We see Wilson's vehicle. It's a RAV4. Wilson's wife, my sister, was getting her nails done with my mother. Her Jeep kind of crapped the bed. So she took Wilson's car, and we thought, all right, what can we do? We can leave like a funny note, and then they'll come back and they'll be like, haha, yeah, you guys did that thing. So funny. But it got more elaborate. The note that I wrote went something like this. Hi. I'm sorry, I accidentally snapped a piece off of your vehicle. I have it. If you would like it, email me at canopy67@yahoo.com. That email just came to me, and the fact that the person would keep the piece that they broke was just a ridiculous concept that we all thought it was hilarious. The best part is that there is damage on the front of his car. There was a little panel missing. We were just banking on the fact that he didn't realize that that was missing on his car. We wrote the note, we put it right here. Here's me, Joe, and James. I did this horrible handwriting. I spelt a bunch of words wrong. I left that ridiculous email address, and then we left. And we hoped for the best. Now, Joe was smart. As soon as we were pulling out of that plaza, he goes, oh my gosh, register that email right now. And so I took out my phone, and I went on Yahoo Mail, and I made the email, canopy67@yahoo.com. The name was still open, because it's a stupid name, and I set it up. So on the off chance that they decide to follow through with this and email someone so that they can recover literally a panel this big to put back onto the car to meet someone and put that panel back on, I could actually receive that email. And I am just hoping so badly that they email. Now, unfortunately, we pulled into the driveway at the same time as my sister. So we thought, this is going to screw up our whole plan. She has this really silly note. She sees us come back with pizza. It all just felt like it was going to come crumbling down, but for some reason she didn't ask at all. And so she gets out of the car. When we get out of the car, we go inside. She goes to her apartment, which is on the property. She's holding the note. So we're thinking she didn't even address it to us. She goes in, presumably talks to Wilson. We send Wilson a text, and we say, hey, we got pizza. Do you want to come over and eat? He says, sure. He comes over, and he recounts this beautiful story to us. All right, so what happened?
So Tony went to go get her nails done, and somebody apparently hit the car in the parking lot, very, very lightly, knocked off a teeny tiny little panel. They then proceeded to write a note saying, I'm sorry, I knocked your little piece off. Email me if you'd like it back.
Last night, when I was editing the footage from 2 nights ago, apparently I got an email response. And so I'm up very early now to respond to that email. Basically, she said, I want to meet tonight, Friday, at 6 p.m. And I just think that's too soon. So I wrote an email to buy me a little time, which basically said, like, hey, how do I know if you're the right person? JK, let me ask my husband. And hopefully I get another response today, because that'd be awesome. But I want to just talk to Joe, see if we can do something hilarious by tonight, or if I should just push it off. So I just got back from work, and I was talking to Wilson. I work with Wilson. And he said, like, oh, she emailed us back, and she said she had to ask her husband. So when I was like, oh, well, you should email her again, he was like, no, I'll just wait till she figures it out. So I'm going to send an email right now, and hopefully just try to perpetuate this. Just try to make it more frustrating. So I got a response, and it was sweet as pie. She says, I'm working till 5 in Falmouth tonight, and then I have to go somewhere else, blah, 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 blah. So tonight wouldn't work, but how about we mail it? And I showed Joe the email, and he said, it's time to ramp things up. So I responded by saying, I'm okay with mailing if you want to PayPal me some sugar for the postage. $10 is fair? I knew that would get a big reaction. And lo and behold, we confronted Wilson about it, and he was pretty heated.
I'm just getting it from Tony's email coming to my phone. Tony was like, yeah, I'm going back to the same place again later this week if you just like go there and hand it off kind of thing. And the lady was like, alright, sure, I'll ask my hubby. We waited a little bit, and then she was like, oh, I can't make it. Do you think you could come somewhere in Wareham?
Wareham's not exactly convenient.
Yeah, and then she was like, but I'm totally okay with mailing it if you just want to PayPal me some postage. Like $10 is fair.
And I texted Tony about it, and she was pretty heated as well. Just to further perpetuate this conflict, Joe and I started to even side with Connie. I'm gonna egg her house.
Taking her side. I mean, why should she lose money on the deal?
I'm kind of thinking that way.
She doesn't lose money because she hit my car.
Yeah, but if you're just $10 for postage, it's probably going to
So now
cost her.
I just wait for the official response to that, and if she doesn't respond, I'm just gonna keep pushing this because I want to see how far I can possibly take this. So I talked to Tony about it, and she thought it was so funny. She was like, oh my gosh. When she said, can you send me some sugar for postage, I was like crying, laughing, this lady's so crazy. Which to me sounded like she was over it and she wasn't going to push further. So that means I have to send another email. And I think I have to ramp up the intensity even more. So I will just say right now that email went over very, very poorly.
I just hate her.
How do you think Tony's going to?
I don't know.
Then if you gotta think about it, she's gotta buy cardboard.
But it
She's
goes
gotta
like that.
buy packing peanuts.
Why? The piece is this big.
Well, I mean,
You
you
could
can't.
fit it in an envelope.
It's a very interesting situation, Wilson.
Just for a minute. Listen, Connie, I'm about to call the police, you thieving, conniving son of a gun.
Reality check.
Oh, wow!
You hit my car, you damaged it, stole a piece of it, and drove away. Now you're getting upset with me for not paying you to give it back.
But it is for
Upset
postage.
with me. Yeah, she damaged my car and stole it. She should pay for postage.
I'm skirting a line here now because if I amp it up too much, I risk them not wanting to meet with her. But that being said, I can't let it end now. So I'm going to think about it more. I'm going to talk to James and Joe, and hopefully I will have the next obnoxious thing ready. I've decided there's really only one thing to do, and that's to get her cats involved. I'm sorry, are you not familiar with Mr. Whiskers and Mr. Lumps? Her two most prized possessions. I mean, family members. This is footage of me writing an email that essentially says, how can you put me through this? I have two fat cats. That email is followed up with another email with 2 photos of 2 cats. Here's Mr. Whiskers. Here's Mr. Lump. So, a lot has happened. The response that I got to the animal email was fantastic. Tony and Wilson were like crying, laughing. They told us all about it. They said it was just so ridiculous. It was kind of the final thing that showed them how crazy this character was. So I was really pleased with that. Tony's response was really benign though. She just responded and she was like, I don't really see how that's relevant, which is accurate. It wasn't actually relevant at all. However, we did run into a snafu today that resulted in the termination of this prank. My dad, who is the only other person who knew about this prank, called Joe and I while we were at work and said that he overheard my other sister tell Tony to file a police report. And he was like, I think it's time to end this prank. And he was probably right. So at work, I wrote the emails and I set up for Wilson to meet Connie at 5:15 at the mall. And the following is the footage from that meeting. Where are we going?
We meet Connie.
So what do you think she's gonna be like?
Oh, that would be wicked funny, actually. Can we do that?
Funny if what?
If she stayed on the phone.
Yeah, but
It's like a magic 8 ball.
but there is a cult. I don't even know if that's true.
Did you do that?
We are Connie.
Are you joking?
No.
Would you like-
Get annoying. Where'd you find the pictures of the cat?
They're still on Facebook.
I just hate this.
Right place, right time.
No.
It is not.
The only
It's just very long-winded.
Was there a little piece of you that was suspicious?
A little bit.
We thought we'd be found out immediately.
Yeah, we
'cause
thought-
we pulled in at the same time as Tony.
It was mildly funny.
I don't know why you didn't think it was us from the beginning.
That would have been the easiest thought process, but I think because it was coming from Tony, I sort of believed it. So I was just reading the emails and enjoying it. I would say this is one of the better pranks ever pulled. I mean, usually it's directly interfering, if not disrupting my life. Like that time Dre tied my shoes upside down.
That time I wore
just
your
annoying.
shoes home.
Yeah, that was just annoying. No, I like this better because it's more thought
More
out.
psychological.
It took like a week.
I know.
More than that.
I love
Yeah.
that. That response was great, and it was exactly what I hoped for. Tony, however, was not so pleased.
Okay, give me someone to talk to. Everybody tell me everything.
It's just gotta be in person.
Okay.
Alright, bye.
Bye.
Let me
Well-
tell you a story.
Lynn.
She didn't give the right piece.
Just listen. Joe's drawing you a quick sketch of what she
Okay.
looks like. We're like, I don't know which lady's gonna be Connie. There's a bunch of... I sped up this footage just because it was me, James, and Joe BSing a story so I could buy some time while Joe drew a portrait of what Connie supposedly looked like. I hear the name that I put in. It's kind of my alter ego.
Connie? You're kidding me.
Maddie is Connie.
You're lying.
James, gonna look at the composite sketch.
The real Connie.
The piece has always been missing.
Is this for serious?
Yeah.
I hate you guys.
Would you like to know what really happened?
Yes.
We were getting pizza.
Okay,
Very.
this is pissing me off because I drove back and I saw the sod behind me.
But the piece was always missing. That's the
Yeah, the
thing.
piece never was
You never
there.
had that piece.
Funny?
But you gotta admit,
it's
You don't think that's funny?
funny.
No, what a waste of my time and energy.
Wilson loved it.
Like,
Promise
we're
Wilson thought it
staring.
was super funny.
It's not really what happened.
Nice work, everyone. Wrap it up. I am just very happy with how this turned out. I had a blast doing it. I had a blast working on this video. Hopefully Tony will get over it and we can have some laughs about it. It's been a wild ride and I cannot wait to do this again. We are Connie.
Maddie is Connie.
You're gonna tell me all that for no reason.
We're praying. It was
I
just.
do that every day though, so.
You guys are invited over for dinner.